Of our crews currently here out of the scene, and I know my colleague Matt Gregory just really getting here to the scene. Are you learning any more information? What are you learning, Matt?
So I've been going around talking to people, trying to figure out, what they heard, what they saw, and a lot of folks, obviously where we are is so far back from the actual scene that, most people heard it first. So there's one gentleman I talked to, and I want to play this for you right now, who he said he was just visiting Washington, D.C. today, or this week, and on his way around he heard several gunshots. He counted 5, but listen to him and kind of the scene he describes about what happened right around 2:30 or so today. Take a listen.
Okay, so I know we are working to get that sound in, but if you can recap what he told you.
So basically what he was telling me was, he's like, listen, I was just walking around by the White House. I came up this way. He was over at the corner, so at 17th and Connecticut, and he said he heard 5 gunshots go off. He said 2 just caught his attention. He also said he's from Georgia, so he's familiar with what a gunshot sounds like, is the way he termed it. And he said, as I was talking to him, I said, well, what did you see? He said, I saw people scattering, and he saw a lot of police and guardsmen focused around a bank just around this way. Now, obviously, there's nothing confirmed about that. If someone was in the bank, what was happening, it could have been just securing it, but that's where he saw the focus of sort of the police investigation. And then he also said that at the same time, he was watching everyone kind of run in this direction, run away. I was like, are we talking about suspects? Are we talking about witnesses? He's always witnesses, people who saw things. So pretty much he said he watched them run across Farragut Park, or Farragut Square here, and just keep going. Then I was just over here speaking with another woman who was on her way back from lunch, and she said she was in an Uber, heard the gunshots right around 17th and H is what she was saying, which is where we've been told that's kind of the focus of the investigation. She said that she heard the gunshots. She ended up, her Uber driver was told by guardsmen to ran out in the street, had them turn around. She said she couldn't see exactly what was happening, but she saw people running. Obviously, since then, this area has really morphed into an area by which we have several different, federal police as well as local police here. This is Washington, D.C. in action, all these different organizations and jurisdictions all converging on one place, and that's why we're so far back right now from the scene, and so is she, right within minutes or moments of it happening.
So far back, but clearly there's been a rippling effect to what's been happening here. I'm curious to know if they ever talked to you. DC has been in the forefront when it comes to the conversation about safety and crime across the country, of course, with the current administration. Did that at all come up with people's just ideas as soon as they learned there was a shooting near the White House?
Well, so he was a tourist, and we asked about it. He said, it didn't make me think of anything. I guess it didn't bother him too much from his perspective, and we'll hear that later when that sound gets going. But the woman I spoke to, she's from Northwest DC. She said she works downtown. She's at a federal building, and she was saying this is just more evidence in her mind of some of the ongoing issues with DC. And she went off on a tangent talking about some of the, thefts and burglaries and whatnot, not necessarily focusing on fatal shootings or shootings in any case, but she said for her, this just kind of solidifies more in her head that DC, as she put it, is not a safe city. And obviously we'll play that sound. That's not any sort of conjecture we're engaging in, but it was on her mind as a witness who heard these things happen. And no matter where you're from, if you hear gunshots, it is quite a jarring experience, and that was kind of what she communicated to me.
And let alone knowing that this is happening the day before Thanksgiving, when there's always this type of issue happening around a holiday, it obviously heightens and elevates that concern.
Yeah, I think that for him, he's here visiting, the man we spoke to, and he's visiting from Georgia, Albany, Georgia, he said, and he's here to see his son. His son, actually, he told me, works at the White House, so this is supposed to be a holiday week for him. A very excited time. He's come to the nation's capital, and this is what he sees on his walk today. He said he was going to a store, never made it to the store because this just and you could tell as I was talking to him, there's a bit of shock. Even if he didn't see it with his own eyes, the hearing, the watching people kind of scatter, all of these things have a psychological effect on folks, and it was present in his face that I could see.
It's interesting you mentioned how there was a lot of focus with that bank, because I did speak to a witness who says that they had to hide in a bank. Presumably maybe near that scene, obviously out of security and safety purposes, they just had to make sure before they knew it was safe to go out.
Oh, this is the thing with an ongoing crime scene that we've learned over the years, you and I, is that what one thing may appear to be may not quite be what it is. He sees, he thinks suspects. You're hearing it's people, going there. That's why we are really working to, get our sources on the phone. I've made a couple calls and get things confirmed. We do know, I think you've probably reported this already, that DC police are reporting one suspect in custody. So we have that at least. We don't know, anything about that suspect at this point. We're working to get more information from police, and we're also working our sources to find out what was this precipitation, what happened here, and just what is the status of the victims.
Yeah, my question is random or targeted?
Yeah, it's a very valid question. It's the one you and I ask at every crime scene we've ever been to. What is the extent of sort of safety to residents? How much of this is targeted and how much of this is random? The woman also told me, I forgot to mention this, she said she saw a bunch of children scattering. Now, I don't know, she said they looked young, and she didn't insinuate they were part of any of this, but she just felt like they were witnesses, maybe high school, middle school kids, forced to see something that, they can never unsee. And she kept talking about the psychological damage that will do to people, and I'd have to agree, yeah.
Yeah, and actually good timing right now, because I understand that the interview that you just did with that gentleman from Georgia is ready, so let's go ahead and play that.
5 shots.
5 shots?
And then everybody was running. Then sirens everywhere, helicopters.
Where did you see everybody
There
kind
was
of?
2 shots, and then 3 came probably 30 seconds behind them, too.
Oh my gosh. What did you see after that? Everybody running? Where were they running to?
They was running from that way this way.
What are you talking about? People or
Yeah,
police?
everybody, people.
And now what are you seeing since you've been here?
I noticed that bank is surrounded.
Yeah. Did you see any National Guardsmen around? Or?
No, I have not. I didn't even know that was the case until he told me about it.
All right, so that was an eyewitness sound from a piece of Matt Gregory's interview. He is going to continue to work his sources and speak to other witnesses who may have seen this, but as we have learned, guardsmen have now been involved in this shooting. Annie, we'll send it back over to you.